This is a quick look at the Sanrenmu 7094 LTX PIH T4. So this is a multifunction knife offering from Sanrenmu. It's been around for a while. There are different variations, some with just a knife blade without the other functions. This particular one is having more than one option with the knife, the saw, and in addition the cord cutter, or I guess in a pinch maybe a seatbelt cutter, with a Phillips two-dimensional screwdriver and a flat head with a bottle opener. And also at the very bottom there, which I forgot to mention almost, is a glass breaker. So this knife, as you can see, has a tanto blade, which is not the best utility shape for everyday tasks, but it does look pretty neat. It has a hollow ground at the front section here, and at the tip it's flat ground, and there's also a minor swedge on the top there. It's polished on the flats and satin finish on the hollow grind and the flat grind on the tip. It's only thumb studs for right hand deployment there if you have a look. I've not tried to reposition this, but I'm pretty sure it wouldn't work. Or it might. I was just thinking it wouldn't really work because it would be really quite deep for the left hand, considering that the knife blade is on the right hand side. So if you flip it over, it's going to be hard to access, I believe. But anyways, this is mainly a flipper blade in my opinion. It's flipped open with ease using the push button method. The light switch method doesn't work very well in my opinion. The ball detent is a little weak on this knife, so that doesn't work very well. If you build up a little bit of pressure, the push button works well. The blade centering, for the main blade anyways, is perfect. The saw is also pretty much dead center. The lock is pretty good. It's about 25-30%. And there is no blade play up, down, or side to side. Now for the saw blade, deployment is via a slot right there. I guess you can call that a nail nick. So once that's deployed, as well as the liner lock on the main blade, there is one on the saw, which is actually pretty good most of the time. Now if you pull this open with a lot of force, that liner will go all the way over. As it is now, it's approximately 50%. Now just watch if I kind of pull it open with some force. Now that liner locker is still 50%, but I've had it open all the way before, to the other side almost. But it's actually pretty good now. Well, on camera it's pretty good. I've had it go all the way over to the other side before. Anyways, it's 50% right now, so it's behaving on camera. Anyway, so yeah, so the saw blade, before I put that away, is tapered. So it's thicker on the saw edge than it is on the spine, which is good so that when you're sawing it doesn't bind. That's the saw. I should also mention whether or not there's blade play. I forgot. Up, down, no blade play. Left, right, no blade play. This is only a tip down right hand carry. Left hand users will be left out. And the tip on the glass breaker is quite large for the size of knife. I'll show you in comparison a little later to something. And the ergos are next. It's a pretty small knife. Look in the description box for all the dimensions. It's my hands, for reference, are size small, so it actually fits my hands quite well. So this is almost a 3.5 finger, maybe 4 finger grip knife. My pinky kind of hangs off on the back there. Ergos are great. The handle here is comprised of 2 different materials, a more harder plastic on the blue section, as well as a softer rubber like material, which is the black parts. So when you're holding the knife, the tips of your fingers wrap around and make contact with the rubber sections, which is really quite comfortable. The jimping up top is actually pretty useless. Yeah, it's unfortunate, but because of the flipper tab, which acts as a guard when it's deployed, your hands aren't going to slip anywhere anyways, so it's pretty much a non-issue. But it could have been better. Unfortunate. It's not a flow-through design. There are plastic back spacers on the back there, and onto the secondary tools on the back. These are non-locking, by the way, and there's no play. I don't know if it's really important for the small tools, but I'll mention it anyways. Side to side, obviously not. There is a ton of up and down, however. Just kidding. Anyways, same thing on this one. No side to side, up to down, obviously. So the washers in here, which you cannot see on camera, but I will tell you, is comprised of 2 different washers on each side of each blade. So there's a kind of black, possibly plastic, synthetic, Teflon type, followed by a very, very thin bronze phosphor, possibly kind of golden color washer next to the blade itself. So since there's 2 blades in here, there are a total of 8 washers. So 4 for each blade, 2 on each side of each blade. Flips pretty well, like I said earlier. Push button is the best. So that's pretty much it. It carries relatively well in the pocket. Quite a bit does stick out right about there. And another thing, because the pocket clip does land on the plasticky blue part there, it's easy to insert and remove from the pocket. If it fell on the rubber part, it might have been a little rougher and harder to remove, but it doesn't, so that's pretty good. And yeah, so the pocket clip, I also forgot to mention, there are no hot spots when holding the knife. That pocket clip works well. That kind of arc up there, it's not an issue. On some knives it protrudes quite a bit, but this one is fine. So on to some comparisons. So something pretty much the exact same size category is this one here. It's almost the same knife. This one's I can't remember offhand. It's the 7098, and this one is just full plasticky like the blue. There's no rubber inserts, so ergos on this are better. You can see the size is essentially the same, just a different blade profile. This one's less utilitarian. This one is really nice for a utility task. So yeah, that glass breaker, it's pretty substantial for a small knife. Nice. This one, however, has a very small dinky one. I'm sure they work equally well, but just thought I'd mention. Oh, and also this one, since I can see it now, there is no lanyard hole for this. So if that was a deal breaker for you, pick up this one instead. I'd still choose this one though, just because of the blade shape. So that's something in the same category size. Show you something also similar, which I need to lube, is the 7056 here. Also Sanrenmu. And this one is about the same size, slightly bigger. But obviously thinner with the lack of a saw. And something in a larger category. This, I forgot to mention, is what I'd consider a small EDC knife. This is a medium EDC knife. This is the 9018 from Sanrenmu as well. It's obviously a lot larger. And still thinner though, with the lack of a saw. And that is pretty much it. If you have this knife and you have any opinions, let me know down in the comments. Thanks for watching. Until next time.